Mama Tolu found the positive pregnancy test in the outside dustbin at 6 that morning. It was wrapped in newspaper and buried beneath potato peels. It definitely wasn't hers, and there was only one woman living under her roof who could have left it there. Blessing, the house girl Mama Tolu had trusted for 3 years. But the pregnancy test wasn't the worst part. When Mama Tolu searched Blessing's room that evening, she found a message that made her hands go cold. Once you give him a son, he will have no choice but to make you his second wife. And beneath it was another message. Don't worry about Tolu. By then, she won't be the one making decisions in that house. Before we find out who was sending those messages, hit that subscribe button right now, because what Mama Tolu discovered next turned a simple affair into a 3-year family plot. Stay till the end. Chief Adewale and Mama Tolu had been married for 17 years. They lived comfortably in Ibadan with their 3 children and owned a successful fabric business. Blessing had entered their home 3 years earlier through a recommendation from Bukola, Adewale's cousin. Mama Tolu remembered the day clearly. She's hardworking, Bukola had said. She's from my mother's village, you can trust her. And Mama Tolu had trusted her. Blessing cooked, she cleaned, she helped with the children. She knew exactly when Mama Tolu was traveling for business. And slowly, without Mama Tolu noticing, she also learned everything about her husband. What food he liked, what sermons he listened to, which shirts he preferred, what made him angry, what made him feel important. At first, Mama Tolu thought Blessing was simply becoming familiar with the household. Then the pregnancy test appeared. Mama Tolu didn't confront anyone. Instead, she watched. Blessing suddenly stopped eating eggs in the morning. She began wearing loose wrappers, and whenever Chief Adewale entered the kitchen, Blessing's expression changed. Not nervous, satisfied. One afternoon, Mama Tolu returned from a business trip earlier than expected. She heard her husband's voice from the kitchen. You shouldn't be doing this. Blessing answered softly. You've been saying that for months. Mama Tolu froze outside the door. Then Chief Adewale said something that made her blood run cold. I told you I would handle it after the baby comes. Mama Tolu pushed the door open. Both of them jumped apart. What baby? Neither answered. Blessing immediately began crying. Chief Adewale stared at his wife, and Mama Tolu realized something terrifying. Her husband wasn't shocked that Blessing was pregnant. He already knew. That night, Mama Tolu waited until Blessing left the house. Then she entered her room. Under the mattress, she found a second phone. The messages inside were months old. One read, he's getting attached. Good. Don't rush him. Another, start making him believe Tolu doesn't understand him anymore. Mama Tolu scrolled further. Then she saw the message that made her sit down. Once the child comes, insist that Adewale keeps his promise. You are not brought into that house to remain a house girl forever. Mama Tolu's heart pounded. She kept scrolling, and then she saw. He promised you second wife status. Make sure he remembers. Mama Tolu's hands began shaking. Her husband had not merely slept with her house girl, he had promised to marry her. She looked at the sender. The number was saved as Auntie B. Mama Tolu opened the profile photograph. Her stomach dropped. Bukola, the woman who had recommended Blessing, the woman who had spent 3 years coming into Mama Tolu's house, eating her food, hugging her children, and calling her my sister. Mama Tolu didn't confront Bukola immediately. She did something smarter. She placed the second phone exactly where she'd found it. Then she told her husband nothing. Instead, she watched. 2 days later, Blessing received a message. She knows. Blessing replied, who told her? Mama Tolu's eyes narrowed. Then another message appeared. Don't panic. Stick to the plan. If Adewale chooses her, we move to plan B. Plan B? Mama Tolu photographed the conversation before Blessing could delete it. That evening, she confronted her husband. She placed the photographs on the table. Chief Adewale stared at them. His face changed. Tolu, don't call my name. He lowered his head. How long? He didn't answer. How long have you been sleeping with her? Almost 2 years. Mama Tolu felt something inside her crack. Almost 2 years? I never planned for it to become this serious. Then why did you promise to make her your second wife? Chief Adewale went completely still. Mama Tolu's voice dropped. You told her that, didn't you? He finally whispered. She was pregnant. That's not an answer. I thought maybe I could take responsibility for the child without destroying our family. Mama Tolu laughed bitterly. You weren't trying to save this family, you were building another one behind my back. Then she placed one final photograph on the table, a message from Bukola. Once he marries you, the property issue will take care of itself. Chief Adewale stared at it. Bukola? For the first time, genuine fear entered his eyes. Mama Tolu called both women into the house that night. Blessing arrived first. Bukola came 20 minutes later. Mama Tolu locked the front door. Nobody's leaving until I understand why you have spent 3 years planning my husband's second marriage. Blessing burst into tears. Bukola remained silent. Then Mama Tolu turned to Blessing. Tell me the truth. Was becoming his wife your idea? Blessing hesitated. Tell me. 10 million naira. Chief Adewale stared at her. 10 million naira? Blessing started crying. She said I would receive it after the wedding. She said I would have land too. Mama Tolu looked at Bukola. Where were you getting that money? Bukola didn't answer. Mama Tolu suddenly remembered something. The fabric business. 3 years earlier, a large amount of money had disappeared from the business account. Adewale had blamed an accounting mistake. Mama Tolu had believed him. She slowly turned towards her husband, Adewale. He looked at her. That money you said the accountant lost. His face changed. What about it? How much was it? 8 million naira. Mama Tolu stared at him, then at Bukola, then at Blessing. The room seemed to shrink. Where did the 8 million naira go? Nobody spoke. Then Blessing whispered, Bukola gave some of it to me. Mama Tolu's eyes widened. Adewale stood up. Some of what? Blessing covered her mouth. She had just realized what she had revealed. Mama Tolu's voice became almost a whisper. You didn't just plan this marriage. She looked at Bukola. You started financing it with money stolen from my business. Bukola's silence was confirmation enough. The family elders were called. Bank records were pulled. Messages were recovered. And the truth became even uglier. Bukola had been moving money from the business for years, slowly enough to avoid immediate suspicion. Blessing had been receiving payments to remain loyal to the plan. Adewale had been manipulated, but he was not innocent. He had still betrayed his wife, he had still promised another woman a place in their marriage, and Mama Tolu had to face all of it. Blessing eventually left the house. Bukola was forced to answer for the financial crimes she had committed. Adewale spent months trying to rebuild a marriage that had been damaged not only by his affair, but by the fact that he had allowed another woman to believe she had a future inside his home. Mama Tolu didn't forgive him quickly. She made him earn back every piece of trust. And Blessing, well, she gave birth months later. The child was innocent. Mama Tolu made sure everyone understood that, but she also made sure the child would never become a weapon in the family war Bukola had started. 6 months later, Mama Tolu was clearing old files from the fabric business when she found one final envelope. It had been hidden behind an old account book. Inside was a handwritten note. There was no name, only one sentence. Bukola was never supposed to be the final person. Mama Tolu read it twice. Then she found a second page, a list of dates, 3 years of dates. The first date was the exact week Blessing entered their house. The last date was 6 months into the future. Mama Tolu's blood ran cold. Someone else had been tracking the entire plan. Someone who knew exactly what had happened. Someone who never appeared in any of the messages she had found. She slowly turned the paper over. At the bottom was a name she knew. A name she had trusted even more than Bukola. Mama Tolu stared at it, and for the first time since finding that pregnancy test, she realized something terrifying. Bukola may not have been the person who started the plan. Sometimes the woman who steals your husband isn't the most dangerous person in the house. Sometimes she's only the person someone else taught how to do it. If you discovered your husband's affair was part of a 3-year plan to turn your housegirl into his second wife, would you confront your husband first or investigate the person behind the plan? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe because the next story may reveal just how dangerous a trusted recommendation can become.